Sina, as like this comes from one of those ancient, Persian words, and the meaning is like someone who creates and discovers. I was actually surprised when I found out because I had no idea what my name means. Back years ago, I was searching and then I found out and I was like, well, makes sense a little bit.
Makes perfect sense.
All the metal musicians and people, the metalheads, people who are into metal are criminals. They are doing all the crimes, they are all about Satanism, and like they are into drugs. So this is how they, built this wrong image. And then you feel somehow, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong, Even my friends were in trouble, even I was threatened, many times by email, letters, phone calls, everything. Even when I moved to Norway, still for the first 2 years I was getting threatening messages, and it's completely different world, When I was talking to my bandmates about it, they are Norwegian, they born and raised in Norway, all the freedom. It's hard to understand for them even, it's make no sense.
We share the idea that music is impactful, it means something. And then you know this, but then it's also kind of, like you say, hard to understand, why would you ban it, or why would you?
The message you give is important, and since music is really powerful, they see it as a weapon, against them.
Which it is.
Yeah, but it's generally art is like really powerful, and of course for this kind of governments, when they are scared of everything that comes from another culture, or like can open people's mind.
I don't think I've ever felt limited or censored by external forces. Okay. I think more than anything, it's me limiting myself, self-censorship. Yeah. So me feeling like there's certain things I can't sing about because I don't want to hurt some people's feelings or...
Back in Iran, I had to have self-censorship, and I always had to be careful about what I'm saying, what I'm doing, even in my music, my lyrics, everything, just because of the limitations coming from the government. But here, now, it's interesting when you say about self-censorship, where it comes from, this self-censorship for you here, because you don't have to.
I'm South African and I'm Norwegian, I'm queer, I'm all these things that often has made me feel, growing up, that I'm on the outside looking in. It took some time to learn that being on the outside is actually a strength. Mm-hmm. And it gives perspectives, and you can see things from, a broader point of view.
Do you see it's like you giving yourself more freedom now, compared to when you were writing your first album? And it's like this self-censorship is like getting less and less.
It's gone, Sina.
Okay, yeah, that's a great thing.
It's on the ocean somewhere. Yeah. I just don't give a shit anymore.
No. Even for me today, after 5 years living in Norway, and now I have all the freedom I want, but still it's, somewhere in the back of my head.
How does that feel, though, when you say that you have all the freedom that you want? What does that feel like? What does freedom feel like to you?
You should feel free to create, and you should feel free to... First, you need to feel free to imagine, even, use your imagination, and then you can create. And after creation, you need to distribute it, to just, give it out, and, give your message, and people can hear it. Because without having this freedom, then how you can express yourself? This is what was, what I was feeling. That's, the lack of these feelings was so obvious back in Iran for me.
It's difficult to explain how important it is to have the freedom to express yourself truly and totally. That when you were saying that about how, you know, governments will allow people to express themselves within that which is considered the norm,
Yeah.
I felt that was such a strong thing to say, Sina, because this idea, this fucking construct that is the normal is so limiting, and it's terrifying because it permeates everything. We're all living under this censorship, not as violently expressed as by the government of Iran, but there is layers of it everywhere you go. There is layers of this idea that is, this is safe and this is what we understand, and everything outside of that is dangerous and unfamiliar. And in any way that we can challenge that, I think we're doing a good job, not just as artists, but as humans.
And you know, sometimes it's hard to explain for people who never have experienced this, you know, censorship or system or injustice, you know. Is the music that important, like as your passion? Is it that important that you would sacrifice something for that?
I thought about that when I was cycling down here to meet you. And that's a scary question, because I want to say yes, but I don't know if I'm as brave as you are. I mean, if anything, I was feeling the privilege of not having had to ask myself that question. Why do you still speak about injustice if you don't have to?
If you don't care about the situation of the others, then it might happen to you. And that's why I feel also responsible in a way, you know. And as I said, I have had this experience, so I understand how it is and how it's hard.
Does that feel heavy, that responsibility?
Yes, sometimes, to be honest, sometimes it feels heavy. If you cannot express yourself the way that you want, then you are already dead. You know, that's how it feels for me.
Sina, it's been an honor. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
Great
honestly.
to you. Thank you so much.
And good luck with the release of your album.
Thank you.
What is it called?
Diva Yasna.
Diva Yasna.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
It has a story actually, but the meaning is like the prayers of demons. Yeah, it's a black metal album, so you can imagine. You don't expect something so nice and beautiful.
It didn't mean like the songs of the angels.
Oh no.